Let's start with DACA. Your reaction, your thoughts.
This has been in the works for a long time. The open borders lobby, of course, seeing the long-term strategy here of designating a privileged political class with an insatiable appetite for government entitlement. And that's what the DACA and DAPA programs have been. These are handouts. They're illegal alien blanket waivers and a work permit program. And
you say there's no such thing as a deserving dreamer, irrespective of any of that. Why is that?
No, I don't. Well, that phrase keeps repeating itself over and over again from the mouths of both the cheap labor lobby on the left and the right. Oh, they deserve protection. They don't deserve to be punished. Look, a lot of people in America, law-abiding Americans and law-abiding immigrants for that matter, are born into unfortunate circumstances. This is not how we come up with public policy based on pulling the heartstrings. The fact is that if there were a single deserving dreamer in this country, they'd be deserving because they would acknowledge that they are owed nothing and that they deserve nothing from a country into which they were born because of their parents' illegal activity. And you can talk to anyone who's come into this country the right and proper way, including my own parents. There's so many first and second generation Americans who understand that citizenship is a privilege and not a right. And when you have an entire class of 800,000 people who feel entitled to be here despite the law, you're creating the very trouble that we are in now. These people who claim to be so oppressed and have to live in the shadows when they're out of the shadows on the lawns of the White House or in front of the public sidewalks in front of Trump Tower demanding.
Everybody, Roger here. I want to talk to you guys today about something pretty important, but I want to give a full disclosure of something first. So, in my life, I've had a lot of struggles, and I still continue to this day. A couple of the struggles that I have are obligations that I have to meet. I've made a lot of sacrifices in my personal life, understanding these decisions that I've made, big decisions that affect other people around me. I have family I haven't seen in years, mostly because I have a lot of work to do. Basically, what I'm trying to say with all this is that, I have my own struggles. I have my own scenarios where I haven't seen a lot of my family in years. Extended family, I haven't seen them in probably decades. So, I just wanted to have that as full disclosure. And I also want to go ahead and mention something else. Individuals who get charged with small petty crimes, things like a small traffic offense, drug misdemeanors, minor infractions, who either have to serve sentences or are also or have to serve prison time. They're taken away from their families without question. And this has been happening. You can thank the Clintons for this, I think, in huge part. So now, with all of that said, and the majority of them are Americans and minorities, blacks and Mexicans for the most part. So now, with all of that said, I wanted to go ahead and start today's video by letting you know what Trump did. So Trump basically proposed amnesty for about 1.8 million illegals in exchange for the funding of the wall, 25 billion, I believe. 25 billion in wall funding. Also in the proposal is ending chain migration and ending the visa lottery. So I know there's a lot of other, minor specifics in this, but these are the important ones. So in regards to these two current people who are going to benefit from this, the supposed 1.8 million people, there's a 10 to 12 year emphasis waiting period, that they have to demonstrate good character, education requirements, etc., etc. The reason why there's 1.8 million in this number here is because there are around 700,000 who were registering for their extensions. But then there are another 700,000 who have not. Now, tell me this. these people who didn't get around to registering, did any of the people who are in prison right now get an opportunity? I know that like with good behavior stuff like this happens, but do a lot of people get this opportunity when if being in America and having this extension means something? Wouldn't they put forth the effort to try to get this done? I mean, for God's sakes, it's 2 years, and you're telling me in this whole time that half of the people. Half of these illegal immigrants who could have applied for an extension again didn't apply for it. Why should we have to foot the bill for that? They made their choice on that. They decided that they didn't want to renew their extension. Why should it befall on us? That's just me. That's where I stand with that part of it. I honestly think that it has a lot to do with trying to satisfy the Democrats to go ahead and push to pass this, to sign off and pass. So anyways, there's issues with the extras, you know, who decided via their own will not to register. So I don't think it's America's responsibility, and I don't think that part should be included in the bill. The 700,000 who did apply for those extensions, I think that they have. I would probably say yes to them. But the other ones who didn't give a rat's ass, nobody's giving a rat's ass about what, you know, these families who just because somebody has an ounce of weed have to serve prison time. And again, that's a generalization, but I mean, think about it. That's kind of a big deal. When you think about it, you know, they really do care more about these illegals, rather their votes, than they do about, you know, helping the average American family, majorly black Mexican, who have made very, very minor, poor decisions at one time and have to face years and years without their family due to it. So, you know, don't give me this crap about, oh, we care. You don't care about America's poor. You don't care about Americans who've made their, you know, bad decisions at one time or another, but you're caring about people who have already steadfastly broken the law by coming into this country and taking advantage of the system. Makes no sense to me, guys. It's just for the vote. That's one of my examples there. So they have to abide by the laws and not be... Okay, so I'm basically saying that we have to abide by these laws in America and be held accountable for a lot of these things, but yet these people don't have to be. They keep getting away with more and more and more and more, and it's just not cool, you know. And then we're going to have an influx, and with the waiting period that the Democrats in Congress want to have, you know, they want to have this extension now, and they want to have it finalized where, you know, we can grant people, even if they haven't renewed, a path to citizenship. What does this tell you? You know what it tells me? It tells me that there's going to be a huge opportunity that once this gets announced that even if you're illegal, that you're able to do this, even if you failed to register for DACA, that you can still go in. There's going to be go in and register. You know, get everything up to date. Get, you know, whatever. There's going to be an influx of illegal immigrants during this period, in between that time frame, that are going to be coming in, that are going to be applying for DACA, or around that age that the DACA recipients have leniency on. And this to me is a huge mistake. This is a very huge mistake, because again, that influx is going to make a lot of people want to come in, you know, desperately at this point in time. So it also says that they would have to have resided continuously since June 15, 2007. Now, people can provide false documentation. People can also provide, I'm not sure, I didn't go through the application process. I see so many issues with this. I just see that there's going to be a lot of influx of people wanting to take advantage of this. They're waiting with saliva dripping out of their mouths, you know, for the answer. You know, are people who even haven't registered these additional 700,000? It's going to be more. It's going to be more. You just wait and see. It's going to be more. Oh, we underestimated. That's going to be the report when everything happens. We underestimated. We're going to see an influx of illegals coming in and applying for this DACA program. I have some ideas to curtail this supposed influx that I am actually, you know, deeply concerned about. One of these ideas is here's this. We did make the mistake of not enforcing our borders. We have to hold ourselves accountable for that. That's our consequence. Whatever happens from here, it's you know, at least now we're all aware of what happened. You know, nobody enforced the borders. You know, all this big ass influx of everybody, and it's crazy. So I think that I think that we're gonna, whatever happens from here is kind of our fault, and we have to own up to it. However, there's some caveats that need to be signed here. We do not give citizenship status, the right to vote being the paramount benefit to any people who are applying for DACA, to any people who want amnesty. I think we give them amnesty, permanent residency status, but these particular people, these 1.8 million people, will forfeit their right to vote. Now, I don't think that that's such a big deal, because they are a byproduct of a crime that happened coming into our borders illegally. People and the world throughout need to understand that breaking a crime in America isn't something that we take with a slap on the wrist.
You don't want that shit.
We need to basically lay down the law and say, yeah, you know, we don't want to be inhumane about this whole process. We don't want to break up families. But at the same time, you're going to be forfeiting some of these supposed legal rights that you think you were going to have if you do eventually get this status after 10 to 12 years. No right to vote. Maybe kin will. Maybe kids that are born into these families. Yes, of course, they're going to be born in America. After all this 10 to 12 year process starts, is granted. So let's say 10 to 12 years have passed, and about 80% of these people show good standing. They get granted their residency, their permanent residency, their legal citizenship. Then after that date, any children that they have can qualify. What this does is it pushes the narrative that, you know what, we are serious about people who want to actually come into America and actually acclimate to American standards. And by this, if they show that good standard, they're going to instill that value onto their kids. Those kids are going to have the right to vote for whatever they want. And at that point in time, if they want to vote Democrat or Republican, Independent or whatever, that's totally up to them. But at least they won't have the stigma of being, of having this, you know, the Democrats trying to back them up for the citizenship as a benefit. You know, there's no push or pull here. You know, the illegal immigrant earned their status after 10 to 12 years. They understand the importance of it. They see the mistake that their parents made that cost them all this time, or sacrifice. They can look at it as a mistake or a sacrifice that their parents have made and cost them all this time. But then after they're going to be thinking ahead for their kids and be like, oh, you know, I get all this. I understand that my kid will have the right to vote. They're going to work their ass off. They're going to work their ass off for their citizenship, instead of having 700,000 people who actually did do their due diligence and keep reapplying for DACA. And the other we're at 50-50 right now. There's the other 700,000 who supposedly decided that it wasn't important for them to renew their status. So you're going to instill responsibility and a sense of pride into these people. That's how I look at it. And then their kids are going to be growing up with a good family who has a good foundation. Mexican, Black, Zimbabwean, whatever, Malaysian. They're all going to be subject to this if they came in here illegally. Whites, whatever. There's a lot of people from all backgrounds that come in illegally. So they're going to all be subject to this. It's not based on color or whatever. It's based on if you want to be an American or not. So think about that aspect of it. You know, we can't just be granting fucking candy left and right because people broke the law and they're suffering. There's families that are suffering right now because we have a minor, you know, somebody was caught with a half an ounce of marijuana or crack even. I mean, at this point, you're breaking up families, American families. These people broke the law, something that should be considered a major offense. You know, and you're letting people with these minor, supposed major offenses of drug possession break up families. Think about the irony of this. We're not helping our American citizens, but yet we have a heart for people leaving their countries selfishly. And again, not to say that the druggies or people who had possession of these drugs were not acting in selfish, ways, but still, they're Americans. They have priority and precedence over anybody outside of America. That's what that's who our country is held accountable to, not illegals. I want to point all this out. What else do I got here? Again, the cost of illegal immigration cannot be rewarded. It can't be even joked with. So that's why I bring up that proposal, you know. So here's the other thing that I want to get knocked out. Americans in general are not responsible for, we can't be blamed for these illegal immigrants and the situation that they're in. They're the product of another person's action, the people who brought them in. The traffickers, the parents, whatever, who crossed them over the border and decided to have the kids here. They're the blame, the real blame. We're sympathetic to the scenario. I am. But I also, but those people who brought them in are ultimately the ones that are responsible, not American citizens. You should be thankful that we're at least, yeah, as a whole, trying to do the right thing, or something that's balanced and fair, considering the mistakes that we've made and the consequences that we're going to get and the circumstances that you're in. So stop blaming Americans. Stop saying that we're racist. We're not fucking racist. I'm a fucking, you know, I have Mexican background in me. So this whole racism thing could just fuck off and die. If you want to argue anything, you know, try to bring some of your good faith into it. You know, if you want to become an American, show us. Don't give us this 50% DACA recipients want to or do their due diligence and you know, apply for their extension, and then this other 50%. You know what that shows me? I mean, I'm just going to say this out because I do have Mexican background and I can say it. Maybe the adage is true. The statement is true. Half of Mexicans are lazy. It could be. Or they're just afraid. I don't know. There's a lot of varying reasons for that. You know, I'm throwing that out there, so don't take it literally. But there's a lot of reasons. Maybe some of them are fearful they're going to get deported or whatever. That could be true. That could be true. But at the same time, if that you could go online. You can go online and do this. It makes no sense to me. So, another proposal that I have is anybody that's granted this residency here during this 10 to 12 year time period, taxes are increased for them. Yes, I said that. Taxes need to be increased for people who have come from a descendancy of people breaking the law and bringing them in here illegally. As they keep acclimating, as they keep progressing in stages, you know, to gain their citizenship here, to become an American citizen in this DACA program, the taxes can be reduced until they gain citizenship, and the taxes are equal. Basically, after they gain citizenship, they're entitled to the same taxes as we are. Until then, I would assume that they would have to pay a little more. I mean, granted, everybody's bragging the fact that they're all doctors and lawyers, so I think they can afford it, right? Right. So that's my take on this. What are your guys' thoughts? You know, I don't think it's being rude. I think we're talking about people who are victims for the most part, you know, as children coming into this country, but definitely, you know, Trump, hammer down. We're not doing any more of this chain migration, this visa lottery. Let's stop it. 100% on that. You know, I basically want your guys' ideas. Are these out of line? I think they're very fair. What do you guys think? Are there anything else that you guys would think should be put into this proposal? You know, share these ideas with people, or if you don't like them, tell me why, and tell me why they're not fair. I think it's full of heart. I think it's full of compassion. But I also think it's fair to the American people as well, and it also is a sign of strength, saying that we're not going to put up with any more illegal activity going forward. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great day. Love everybody, and we'll talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye.